Hello everyone, this is Isador, and after having played Infinity Wars for some time, I figured it would be fair to give it a review. Note that this review will be based on my limited experience with card games, both in the format of video games and in real life card games, and thus can't be considered a very informed opinion. For the most part, I will attempt to make comparisons with Hearthstone, which is my current favorite card game, and more vague comparisons with card games I've played in the past, such as Yu-Gi-Oh!, Edoron, and Pox Nora. If you haven't already, do look at my other Infinity Wars vids to get an idea of how the game plays. Infinity Wars, I feel, is a potentially very deep card game. The commander system and the morale system add more layers of strategy than you might not find in other card games, and open up a windows of opportunity to fine-tune a strategy that is unique to you. No matter which of the 8 factions you choose, you will have a wealth of strategies that you can employ. If you struggle to fill up your deck with just faction-specific cards, there are also a number of relatively versatile neutral cards that any faction can employ. However, putting a downer on this depth of strategy is the power curve between common and rarer cards. While it is hard to find cards that are truly bad or worthless, there is a clear difference in the power between cards that are easy to get and very rare cards. This doesn't eliminate, but rather weakens the effect of the layers of depth that the game has, as people are forced to gravitate towards rarer cards in order to get the best possible options. While there are certainly other card games that do this far more obviously, the fact remains that if you want to compete competitively, prepare to either grind for weeks to buy boosters or fork some serious money over. Which brings me to the free-to-play part of the game. A lot of games will call themselves free-to-play and then proceed to hide most of the game behind a cash wall. Or they allow players to earn everything for free, but only if players are willing to go through an unholy amount of grinding to get to it. Infinity Wars does a decent job at providing the free-to-play experience through the soulbound mechanic. The game basically rewards you for playing by leveling up your account or providing weekly quests for you to achieve, both of which give free cards. These cards are soul-bound, meaning that you cannot trade them with other players. They're basically bound to your account. You can get quite a large number of these free soul-bound cards, and they aren't restricted in how rare the cards might be. Technically, you could get all the cards you need or want through this mechanic. However, the weekly quests don't typically yield that many cards, and while leveling up your account gives a whopping 15 free cards, only one of those is predetermined to be rare or better, and leveling your account slows down over time. I even believe that there's a maximum level your account can achieve, at which point you're basically cut off from free 15 card boosters. You do earn points for playing matches, which you can use to unlock stuff for your account, such as more cards or card backs. These will also not be soul-bound. However, especially when compared to Hearthstone, you'll notice that this process takes a long time, provided you do not upgrade to a premium account. If you win a match against another player, you can at most earn 150 points. If you lose, it'll be 75 points. A single 15 card booster costs 5,250 points. That means that in order to get one free booster, you'd have to win 35 times in a row, and all of these matches will have to take at least the amount of time needed to yield 150 points. As you can imagine, this can make the grind very long and very tedious for people who want to expand their collections. As I said before, there are 8 playable factions in Infinity Wars, each with their own specialties. The Cult of Furore, for instance, has a large number of unit destruction cards. Genesis Industries focuses on buffing weaker androids until they can go toe-to-toe with much stronger cards, and the Sleepers of Avarach have a lot of cards that interact with the graveyard, either your own or the enemy's. In addition, there are also a number of neutral cards that can be included in every deck. You can even combine different factions by picking commanders from 2 or 3 different factions, allowing you to combine cards from these factions. However, Each card has a purity rating that indicates how many commanders you need of that faction to pick that card. A Cult of Furore card that has a purity of 3 requires you to have 3 Cult of Furore commanders. However, I've had some problems with the way the factions are balanced. Being a pure Sleeper of Avarach player, I noticed that my faction has a lack of flyers or flyer counters. As a result, I stood no chance against Angel decks, which were full of flying cards, with very little hope of fixing that issue in the future, short of patiently waiting for an expansion to add additional anti-flyer cards to that faction. As a result, I feel driven to play different factions, or at the very least, play mixed decks. Having voiced all my complaints, I do feel that the game has enough entertainment value to be worth a try. If you like collectible trading card games, Infinity Wars might not be the best out there, but it's certainly worth your time. For those of you who enjoyed this review, do remember to press the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That is all, and I hope to see you all again in my next video.